Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Had the Quirk of Light and Dark Archangel Part 1. Before we start, please go support Silverlion 12k for writing that awesome fanfic. Blessed with a villain like Quirk being isolated, the world told him nobody would accept him with his kind of quirk. He's ready to prove them wrong. Chapter 1. Growing up in a world where everyone has quirks is amazing. On the day of my 5th birthday, I was going to find out what kind of quirk was going to manifest. It wasn't until the morning of my birthday. When I woke up that I felt a disturbing pain on the left side of my back. I was rushed to the doctor. It wasn't until I got to the doctor he had asked I remove my shirt so he could further examine the area of pain. When I removed my shirt for further examination, I had a black angel wing growing from the left side of my back. The doctors began to fear that this was the quirk of a villain. At this point my body began to react to the fact that I was gaining multiple abilities such as super speed, quick healing, super strength, the power of flight, and last but not least to be able to control fire, but my fire was black. The doctor then told my mother that it was best that she would try and keep me calm, because if my power was to be unleashed at full strength, there would be nothing but mass destruction. After the doctor's visit, my childhood friend Bakugo had asked me what my quirk was. I couldn't really explain what it was, but I decided to show him the black flames and black angle wing. He called it a villain's quirk, and from then on he said, "You play the villain Deku, you have the perfect quirk." I was isolated due to the fact that my quirk had properties of darkness. I made a vow that no matter what anybody says I would become a hero whether they like it or not. 9 years later, growing up with my quirk, which I've decided to call Archangel, I've closely studied all pro heroes to find weaknesses and strengths that could help gain some form of advantage to how well our team comparability would work between our quirks. I hear the bell ring and hear the teacher say, "Alright class, we're going to have a test today." As everyone complained, the teacher then said, "I'm kidding about the test. I know many of you will be going to different schools, but we have 2 students who will try to attend UA." Bakugo said, "Teach who is stupid enough to try and apply to UA when I'm already stronger than these bucks, so don't compare me to anyone in this class." The teacher responded with the second student who also applied to UA is none other than Izuku Midoriya. The classroom fell silent since everyone had isolated him. He didn't like the fact that everyone avoided any contact with him just because of the fact that his quirks had villain-like properties. Bakugo said, "What? Deku, you better withdraw your application to UA. Your villain-like quirk will not be acknowledged by any hero." Izuku. "Whether you like it or not, I'm going to UA so that I can prove to everyone that I can use the power of darkness to become a hero." Continuation of Chapter 1. The day had felt as if it were a regular day, even after the confrontation that had just occurred between Izuku and Bakugo. The school day ended and Bakugo, along with his lackeys, left and went to grab a bite to eat. Bakugo complained to his lackeys, "Who does this bastard think he is trying to become a hero with a villain-like quirk? There is no way he would be accepted." In another part of town, Izuku had been thinking whether or not he'd be accepted by anyone at UA. The only person who accepts him is his mother, but like any teen, all Izuku wanted was to have friends, but thanks to Bakugo telling everyone that Izuku manifested a villain quirk, he was avoided. As Izuku was walking home drinking a bottle of soda, he thought of many scenarios as to what his high school life would be like when they saw his powers of darkness. As he was lost in thought, a sludge villain had attacked Izuku. "Hey boy, mind if I pauses you? It seems like you have a powerful quirk. This will teach the heroes to mess with evil villains." The thought of Izuku's quirk being used for evil terrified him. To see all innocents being killed by his quirk that he vowed to use for justice, Izuku's anger had skyrocketed. "Slime villain. What are you doing, kid? You quit struggling." Izuku started yelling "Rah!" as a black barrier appeared and repelled the slime villain. As the villain was shot by a dark blast of energy in which Izuku shouted "Dark Aura," as 2 blasts of this attack caused the villain to splatter around. "All Might," it appeared. "Have no fear, for I am here." Izuku's eyes had lit up like the moon on a clear night. All Might began to wonder about the mess. Izuku said, "All Might, I'm sorry, I activated my quirk and disobeyed the law." All Might looked confused. "You did this to the villain?" "I'm sorry, All Might, sir, this was my doing. When I was 5 my quirk manifested, and this is it." Izuku showed All Might what his quirk was, the power of darkness, and he channeled his power to show his hero. All Might said to him, "My boy, it doesn't matter what kind of quirk you possess, as long as you have the determination to change the minds of those who doubt you, anyone can be a hero." Izuku shed tears and began to cry. He gave All Might the soda bottle so he could capture the villain and said, "Thanks All Might, you're my hero. I vow to make this power I've been given a symbol of light." As Izuku left All Might to capture the slime villain 3 minutes after Izuku had left, All Might's hero timer had been up. "I'm glad the kid didn't see me in this weakened form. This would have broken his dreams." Even more, knowing his hero was no longer able to be a hero. As All Might collected the villain's remains, he was able to activate his muscle form again, and he jumped from building to building without noticing the bottle which kept the villain had fallen out of his pocket. In another part of town, Bakugo and his lackeys. Ow, what hit me on the head? It was a bottle with green stuff in it. As Bakugo looked at it, an eye suddenly appeared and he tossed the bottle away, and the slime villain had been released and headed straight to possess Bakugo, and so chaos broke out as Bakugo was being held captive by the slime villain. Some of the pro heroes had showed up to the scene but couldn't do much since their quirks would hit the hostage. As Izuku showed up, he saw his old childhood friend held hostage. Bakugo's eyes said, "Help me, I'm afraid." As Izuku saw the slime villain, he wondered what happened to All Might. As Izuku approached the villain whom he had defended himself from, the slime villain began to scream in fear, "Keep that kid away from me, he'll do anything, he'll even release the boy." As he released Bakugo, every pro hero was confused on why he gave up quickly. As Bakugo was being taken to medics to examine if he was okay, Izuku began to walk away and the slime villain hadn't given up on possessing Izuku. Hahaha, kid, did you think I'd given up on possessing? As the slime villain charged at Izuku, all bystanders and pro heroes shouted, "Look out, kid!" Izuku then shouts Dark Void as a dimensional rift opened as the villain is transported to a dimension where they are tormented by black flames for eternity. All that could be heard were screams of pain, and everyone feared that Izuku was a threat. All civilians ran. I panic. All pro heroes took defensive fighting stances, ready to attack Izuku, until a familiar voice was heard. "Have no fear, for I am here," All Might said as he defended Izuku from all heroes who were ready to kill him. They asked, "Why would you protect a boy who has that kind of quirk?" As All Might responded, "Our job as heroes is to ensure that future generations do not fall into temptation to become villains. I shall take charge of the boy personally." After All Might had said this, everyone felt more at ease. Later, after the commotion had died down, Izuku and All Might were walking in silence until All Might spoke and said, "My boy, I will teach you to be seen as a hero and help you prove to the world that it doesn't matter what kind of quirk you have." When the two reached Izuku's home, Mrs. Midoriya tackled Izuku and began crying, saying, "Where have you been? I've been worried sick." As Izuku's mom saw All Might standing next to him, she wondered what was happening. All Might said, "Excuse me, Mrs. Midoriya, I ran into your son after he was attacked by a villain, and I saw his quirk in action. I would personally like to train your son so that he may be accepted by everyone, regardless of his quirk." There ended the night as All Might promised to oversee Izuku's training. He said, "Midoriya, meet me at the Gaba Municipal Beach tomorrow at 6 a.m. and prepare to be trained." Chapter 2 Training. The next morning, after all the chat between All Might and Izuku's mother, Izuku woke up at 4:45 a.m. He cooked breakfast for his mother and left a note saying, "Woke up early, so I can prepare for training, I'll be back later." As Izuku left his home, he made his way to the train station. As always, he got stares from everyone due to the fact that they recognized him from yesterday's incident. Some saw him as a villain, but it was one little kid who spoke to him. "Excuse me, big bro, I saw you yesterday during the accident and you looked more like a hero than the pros did." Izuku responded with a big smile, "Thanks, but I have a long way go before I can be a hero." Izuku was near to Gaba Municipal Beach, so he got off the train and walked toward the beach, but it looked like a dump. All Might appeared in his skinny form. "Young Midoriya, I see you are early for training." "Izuku? Who are you? I'm supposed to be meeting All Might here." "All Might? Sorry kid, but you're staring at All Might. Let's just say not all heroes have happy endings." As the skeleton-like All Might lifted his shirt to show Izuku an injury that happened 5 years ago. "All Might, the doctors were able to reconstruct my stomach, but I can't hold my hero form for much time, and every time I have to use my hero form my timer for my hero form decreases. I can only hold this form for 25 minutes now. It'll gladly help you achieve your dream if you will become my successor." "Izuku, will I become the next symbol of peace? What about you, All Might? What's going to happen to you?" "All Might, as for me, I will retire from being a hero, but if I pass my quirk on to you, I don't know what will happen. It could probably make your quirk stronger or mutate into something else, only time will tell." Training montage 5 months later. "All Might, it's been 5 months, let's see how much you've improved." "Young Midoriya, I won't be holding back, but I warn you, my hero form only lasts about 15 minutes now." Both All Might and Izuku powered up to fight at full power. Isaac's speed, power and control over the power of darkness have greatly improved. Izuku also learned new techniques. One is being able to duplicate himself in case he is outnumbered. Second is to use his feathers to create projectiles, and he can also create a dark energy blade, focusing his power of darkness into a sword. As his body was being trained by the number one hero, Izuku had felt that someone was always watching him from afar. "All Might, what's wrong?" "Young Midoriya, is everything okay?" "Izuku? Yeah, everything is fine. I just had this feeling that someone was watching us." "All Might, it could be a secret admirer of yours." "Izuku? Nah, I doubt it. No girl would ever go for a guy like me. I mean, my quirk is similar to that of a villain. I control darkness, so I doubt any girl would be interested in me." "All Might, young Midoriya, you must always remember, even in the depths of darkness, never forget there is always a glimmer of light, so have confidence in yourself, young one." "Izuku? Thank you, All Might, I feel a little more confident." After the chat between the two they continued training, but as they focused on training a girl with beautiful flawless skin and a spiky ponytail came out of her hiding spot and in her mind. I Momoyaoi Rozu have been observing this young man for the past 4 months, and I've noticed that he's powerful, but for some reason I catch myself always coming back to observe him. As this young woman left All Might's hero form had just faded, and so All Might said, "Young Midoriya, I'm sorry, but tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment for a checkup, just to see how I'm doing so you can have the day off tomorrow." As Izuku was worried about his mentor's health, All Might said, "Not to worry, it's just a checkup, so just use tomorrow to relax, spend tomorrow having fun. What do you like to do?" Izuku: "Well, for fun I like to cook, I also play some bass guitar, and I also have concert tickets to go see my favorite band to play live, but there's a rumor that it's going to be a festival with a lot of bands playing before they start touring around the world." All Might: "Young Midoriya, I had no idea you could cook or play an instrument, that's amazing, you know that scores huge points with the ladies." Izuku: "I didn't know about that, well I really don't know much about dealing with friends or girls because I've been ignored by everyone due to the nature of my quirk." All Might: "Well, since today's Thursday you can enjoy your 3-day weekend without worry and have fun. Well, how about we grab some lunch together, my treat, what are you in the mood to eat?" Izuku: "Thanks All Might, I appreciate it, I kinda feel like having a burger, I feel like it's been a while since I've had one." All Might: "Are you sure you'd like to eat a burger? It's my treat, we can go anywhere you want." Izuku: "I like to consider us friends, even though you've chosen me to become your successor, I won't take advantage of your kindness." All Might: "Wow, young Midoriya, it means a lot to hear words like that from you." As the two left to grab some lunch they ate and had a good time as if they were old friends. They went their separate ways toward home. As Izuku got home he saw a pair of shoes he didn't recognize. Izuku: "Mom, I'm home, do you have company over?" Inko Midoriya: "Honey, you're back so soon, well we got a surprise visit from Saman Special." As Izuku walked into the living room he heard this. Hisashi Midoriya: "Can't a father-husband see his family after all these years?" Izuku: "Dad, you're home, when did you get back? How long will you be staying?" Hisashi Midoriya: "I got back a couple of hours ago and I'm back for good, my assignment overseas is complete so I'm home for good." Izuku was glad to hear that his father would be home from now on. Izuku: "Well, I'm going to go grab a shower and rest. Oh mom, I also ate before coming home, I'm going to knock out my homework and rest. Oh, before I forget, I have 3 days off starting tomorrow and I'm going to a concert tomorrow." Hisashi: "What did my son mean when he said he had 3 days off starting tomorrow?" Inko: "Well, for the last 5 months our son has been getting training from All Might and ever since then Izuku has had a boost in confidence, has also learned how to play bass guitar." Hisashi: "Wow, my son has grown up since I've been gone." Chapter 3 Surprise. After Izuku went to his room after his shower he was relaxing while listening to his favorite metal band Circus Maximus. As he listened to music it helped him finish his homework. He heard a knock at his door and he lowered his music and said, "Come in." It was his father at his door. Izuku: "Hey dad, sorry, was the music too loud? Is everything okay?" Hisashi: "No, the music wasn't a problem, I thought I could talk to you, since I've been away for so long I feel like I haven't supported you." Izuku: "It's okay dad, I understand that your job was important and without you here I had to grow up to be strong." Hisashi: "Well son, tell me how you've been, let's catch up, tell me how your studies are going." Izuku: "Well, everything is going well, I'm being trained by All Might, it's an honor, I'm also top of my class at school." Hisashi: "Wow, I'm impressed, you've come a long way my son. So what about a girlfriend, any romance in your life?" Izuku: "No dad, no girlfriend, I mean my quirk is villian like, I doubt any girl would be interested in me." Hisashi: "Have more confidence in yourself. Well, the reason I ask about the girlfriend situation is because my boss has a daughter that's the same age as you and we talked about it after becoming good friends that we should have an arranged marriage." Izuku: "What? You mean you and your boss are arranging a marriage between two people who know nothing about each other?" Hisashi: "Now son, don't be so upset, here is a picture of her and information from her father that details her likes and dislikes. Her name is Momoyaoi Rozu." Izuku: "Wait, I feel like I've seen her before, I don't know where." At the same time in a different part of town. Momoyaoi Rozu: "I can't keep that young man out of my mind, his green and black curly hair, the mystery of his quirk, he's interesting, I wonder if I could speak to him." As she was lost in thought a well-dressed man came into her room. "Lady Yaoi Rozu, the master of the household has returned and wishes to see you." Momoyaoi Rozu: "Yay, daddy's home, it's been so long, welcome home father, how was you assignment overseas?" Mr. Yaoi Rozu: "Hello my beloved daughter Momo, how are you? Is everything well, where is your mother?" Momo: "Well, mother had to attend a meeting that required her attention and I spent the day doing homework and studying." Mr. Yaoi Rozu: That's my girl studying to be better than anyone else. I'm sorry to ask you this, Momo, but has any young man caught your eye? Momo. Father. Nobody has caught my attention and I don't have anyone I like in particular. Mr. Yaoi Rozu. Perfect, I've arranged you to marry the son of one of my employees, he's about the same age as you, would you like to meet him? If not, I have a picture of him and a list of likes and dislikes. His name is Izuku Midoriya. As Mr. Yaoi Rozu had showed his daughter Momo the picture, it was the same young man that kept running through her mind ever since she saw him train at Dagaba Municipal Beach. Momo. When can I meet him? Yaoi Rozu. Well, you seem eager to meet him now, do you know him? Momo. No, I don't know him, but he seems keen and nice. Yaoi Rozu. I'll contact my friend Hisashi so we can set up a meeting for you and his son. Okay. Momo. Yes, father, I will do my best to make a great first impression. Now please excuse me far. Yaoi Rozu. Okay then, Momo, I'll call my friend Hisashi and see if we can meet his son tomorrow. Back at the Midoriya residence. Hisashi. Son, if you aren't busy tomorrow, would you like to meet your future bride? Izuku. Well, okay, I do have tickets to a music festival and I wonder if she would like to go. Hisashi. Great, son, how's tomorrow at 2 p.m. if it's okay with you, I'll give Mr. Yaoi Rozu a call now. Izuku. 2 p.m. is fine, you can call Mr. Yaoi Rozu and set it up. As the talk between father and son ended, Hisashi had called Mr. Yaoi Rozu and set up the meeting between their kids. Later that night at 12 p.m. Izuku began to stress a bit about meeting his future fiancé and he began to grab his bass guitar and play along with the classic band Iron Maiden. Play the video above. Hisashi. Why is Izuku still up? He's meeting his fiancé tomorrow. Inko. He does this a lot when he's nervous, it will be okay, he's a great kid. Hisashi. My question are, where did he get that bass guitar? And who taught him to play? Inko. When he cleaned Dagaba Municipal Beach he found it among other things and Hess used them to give him confidence. Hisashi. What else did he find besides the bass guitar? Inko. He also found a Harley Davidson Road King as she showed her husband the pictures of Izuku fixing the bike and where he passed his driver's test. Hisashi. I've missed so much of my own son's life, I feel as if I don't know him, is there anything I can do? Inko. Relax, I bet Izuku would be glad to spend time with you. It's late, let's go to sleep. At the same time. Momo. I can't believe I'm meeting the young man who has captured my attention. His name is Izuku, it sounds adorable, well I hope the sun rises faster tomorrow. The next day 8 a.m. Hisashi. Honey, have you seen Izuku? Inko. I found a note he left of the refrigerator. Your mom and dad went to the store to buy groceries, will be back soon. Don't worry, I'll prepare tonight's dinner. Inko. Okay, he'll be back in a little bit. As Izuku was out shopping he ran into Mitsuki Bakugo, Kitsuki's mom. Mitsuki. Hello Izuku, how are you? Why are you up so early? Izuku. Good morning auntie, I'm doing well, I'm just shopping for some dinner supplies, my father came home last night and his boss will be joining us for dinner tonight. Mitsuki. What a responsible young man you've become, I wish my son was more like you. Izuku. Auntie, we are both very different. Did you come walking by any chance? Mitaki. Yes, I came walking, why do you ask? Izuku. I'm asking because I recently got both my Class M license and Class C license. Would you like a ride home? Auntie Mitsuki looked shocked. Mitsuki. When? And how were you able to get both licenses? When did you get a car? Izuku. Well, with the consent of my mom, she signed both DMV documents that allow 14-year-olds to get permission to drive. As Izuku and Mitsuki finished grocery shopping they got into Izuku's car, which was a Chevy Cruze AN. I chose Chevy Cruze because I drive one. Mitsuki. How did you ever get this car? Izuku. Well, I was walking past this road I have never seen and well the car had this note on the window. The note said if you can fix her she's yours to keep. Izuku. That's how I got the car and I had to fix it up and that's it. Mitsuki. I'm impressed, well thank you for the ride home, tell your family I said hi. As Mitsuki enters her home she is greeted by her son Kitsuki. Kitsuki. Hey old hag, where did you go? As Mitsuki smacked her son over the head she said, why can't you be more like Izuku, a kind and responsible young man? Kitsuki. You want me to be a villainous Quirk having reject? Mitsuki. It's no wonder Izuku already drives both a car and a motorcycle, he's more mature than you, it seems his quirk is no longer an issue that bothers him. Kitsuki. Wait, that loser drives, was that who dropped you off right now? Mitsuki. Yes, Izuku dropped me off and he isn't a loser, if you have problems resolve them yourself. Kitsuki. Well, I'll go over to Deku's house later, I'm hanging with the guys today. As Izuku got home he was welcomed by both parents and he brought in the groceries from the car. The time was 12 p.m. afternoon. Hiashi. Izuku, it's already noon, the Aoi Rosus will be here in 2 hours. Izuku. Understood father, I'll work on the meal we will be having. As Izuku began to cook to feast, 1.5 hours have passed and they heard a knock at the door. It was the Aoi Rosu family. For the time being it was Momo and her father present. Mr. Aoi Rosu. Hiashi, my friend, how are you? Allow me to introduce my beloved daughter Momo. Momo. It is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Midoriya. But inside Momo's head were the thoughts of her future husband aka Izuku. As she spotted the green and black curly hair from the distance, she saw that he was in the kitchen. Momo. A young man that can cook, it's a rare skill nowadays, but I can't believe he can cook better than anyone I've seen. A light blush fell upon Momo's face as Izuku approached her. Izuku. Hi, you must be Momo, it's a pleasure to meet you. As Izuku gave a light kiss to the hand of a beautiful girl, Momo's blush had gotten redder. Thus began the meeting. As everything was going well, there was a loud pounding at the door, followed by the insulting nickname Deku. Izuku. Sigh, I knew sooner or later something was going to ruin my day. As Izuku had gotten up from the dinner table to open the door, he was rushed upon opening the door. Katsuki. Listen here Deku, who the buck do you think you are, having your license before me, acting cool? You got a woman before me too. As the scene erupted in the Midoriya house, Izuku shoved Katsuki off of him. Izuku. You call me a villain, but you cause a scene in my home and expect to get away without punishment. As Izuku roundhouse kicked Katsuki out of his home, Katsuki's parents rushed over to make sure their son didn't do anything stupid. It was too late, they apologized and had asked what happened before Katsuki interrupted the meal. When they found out that Izuku was to be married, that felt jealous since Katsuki was making them look bad. Mitsuki. So when will the wedding be? Hiashi. I was hoping after Izuku passes his entrance exam at UA. Mr. Aoi Rosu. Momo has already been accepted due to recommendation, we can wait for your son to pass. The arrangement had been made and that's when Izuku made a proposal. Izuku. Momo, I have an extra music festival ticket, would you like to join me tomorrow? Momo. I'd love to. What time does this festival start? Izuku. It starts at noon, I'll pick you up from home. Momo began to blush and the Aoi Rosu family departed. Everything went well, the sun had started to set and Izuku was happy. At the Aoi Rosu home. Momo. I can't believe I'm going on a date with my future husband and it's going to be the best day ever. Chapter 4, the concert. 11 a.m. It was the next day and Izuku was ready to head to the music festival. As he got dressed and ready for the festival, he called Momo on her cell. Izuku. Hello Momo, it's Izuku, I'm calling to see if you are ready to get picked up. Momo. Hello Izuku, I'm almost ready, I need to finish getting dressed, but quick question, is there a dress code for the festival? Izuku. Haha, there is no dress code, just wear something casual. Momo. Well, I'm sorry, I've never been to a music festival before. Izuku. It's okay, don't worry, there is no dress code, I'm almost ready, I'll let you know when I'm outside. As Izuku hung up his phone, he was already finished getting dressed and he grabbed his motorcycle keys and left to pick up Momo. As he arrived to pick up Momo, she saw her dressed in navy blue jeans. While wearing a white blouse and a black leather jacket, completing the outfit she wore black and white Chuck Taylor's Converse. Wow Momo, you look great. Momo responses, well thank you, I didn't know if this was appropriate attire for a music festival. Izuku laughed, hahaha, don't worry, you look fine now, get on, have you eaten yet? As Momo shook her head, Izuku said, before we go to the music festival, let's grab something to eat before, so we won't miss any of the bands playing. Momo asked, where are we going to eat? Izuku said, I know a great family restaurant nearby, let's go. So as Izuku and Momo put on their helmets getting ready to leave for the restaurant, as Izuku drives carefully since he has his bride to be with him, they make it to the destination safely. The family restaurant was called Johnny's. As they walk into the front door, they are welcomed by a foreigner named Michael. Hey Izuku, how's it going? Izuku begins to speak English. Hey champ, how you guys doing? Without me? How's Gramps doing? Michael says Gramps is doing fine, he's in the office, I'll tell him you're here. Wait, who is this beautiful woman with you? Izuku responding, I'd like you to meet Momo, she's my girlfriend. Michael was happy for Izuku, let me show you to your table. As they sat down ready to order, Izuku told Momo, order whatever you'd like, it's on me. Momo flustered, said HHH, how could you pay for me? Izuku responding to her, well I invited you so obviously I'm paying for your meal, now help yourself to whatever you're craving. As they enjoyed their meal they paid and left headed straight for the concert. Momo had some questions for Izuku. Izuku, when did you learn to speak English? Well, Izuku telling Momo of how he learned to speak English fluently. Growing up I was isolated, I came to eat here once and they treated me like a regular person and I saw they were hiring, so I asked for a part-time position. Momo was shocked to hear that he was isolated due to the nature of his quirk. As Izuku spoke, "We're here." Momo was lost in thought, and as she saw the surroundings around her she was in awe as she had never been to a music festival. As Izuku held her hand she blushed as they walked toward the stage, and all over the venue were stalls that were selling all kinds of merchandise. As Momo saw a flyer with the band names that were going to perform she had told Izuku, "I've never heard of these bands." "Oh well, the bands Iron Maiden and Bullet for My Valentine are British, and Camelot was formed. I'm America finally. Circus Maximus is Norwegian. These are some good bands." Momo was somewhat confused because she couldn't understand English, but she didn't care because she was Izuku. Iron Maiden was headlining the festival, so Izuku was super excited. "Izuku, do you have a special connection to this band in particular?" asked Momo. Izuku nodded and explained to her, "Since the nature of my quirk seemed evil, I was always alone, and when I heard them play, I felt as if all my worries had disappeared." The concert was about to begin, and the first song by Iron Maiden was Aces High. As the song had finished the band announced, "We will pick one lucky person who will come on stage and perform with us." As the band took a few minutes to choose someone for the crowd they saw a black wing with a black wing come to the stage. The one they chose was Izuku. "Now young man, tell us your name," and he responded, "My name is Izuku Midoriya." "Okay, now Izuku, what instrument do you play?" asked the singer of Iron Maiden. Izuku without hesitation, "I sing and play bass," was his answer. "What song do you wish to perform?" Izuku without any doubt said, "I'd like to play The Trooper." As the guitarists began playing Izuku felt the music flow through him and played naturally. Everyone in the audience including the band were shocked and the singer gave a sign to Izuku telling him to sing the song, and so he did. Again everyone became awestruck. Not only could this young man play bass, but also sing like an angel. Izuku spotted Momo in the crowd and saw she was blushing, knowing her boyfriend was playing bass for professional musicians. As the song ended the band announced that this particular song was recorded and streamed all over the world, and everyone who is at the festival will appear on TV. "Izuku, you are an amazing bass player," said the singer of Iron Maiden. "What do you have planned now?" Izuku jumped down the stage and held Momo's hand and said, "I'm spending the rest of the festival with my girl." Momo became flustered and red, but she was happy to see that her boyfriend looked happy playing music. "Izuku, I didn't know you had a great talent for music. You were amazing." As the two enjoyed, the festival members from the other bands approached him, asking him to play a song with them. He agreed to do it. First up was Bullet for My Valentine, with the song Tears Don't Fall. After the show with Bullet he kept his promise to Camelot and Circus Maximus to play one song for each. The song for Camelot was Love You to Death. To close off the festival Izuku performed with Circus Maximus. The song was Reach Within. And with this being the song to end the festival Izuku was stopped by the bands he performed with and they gave him a special bass. It was a Sterling by Music Man bass in seafoam green. Izuku was excited and happy that they gave him this bass before he left, so he and Momo walked back to his motorcycle and headed for home. As they reached Momo's home she said, "I had a great time and I can't believe my boyfriend is extremely talented." "Before you go, close your eyes." Izuku did what she said and he felt something soft make contact with his lips, only to realize Momo had kissed him. This shocked him, making him jump backward, and she told him, "We have to get used to kissing, we're engaged, remember?" And she went inside her home to rest and relax. Chapter 5: A New Tomorrow. The day after the concert everything had calmed down. Izuku was relaxing when he got a text, "Hi honey, what are you up to?" It was Momo who had texted Izuku after the concert and the first kiss they shared, she started calling him honey. Izuku replied, "Hey babe, what's up? Everything okay?" Momo replying via calling, "Sorry if I called you, were you busy?" "I wanted to hear your voice." "It's okay," said Izuku as he said, "I actually wanted to hear your voice also. Did you enjoy our date at the festival?" Momo was still excited because she had the time of her life at the music festival. Izuku, to be honest, I didn't think I would enjoy myself at the concert as much as I did, thanks, and also I looked for the band's albums and bought them all. Izuku was surprised to hear that his girlfriend took an interest in the same kind of music he liked. "So what are you doing today?" Izuku. "I thought about resting, but I was also thinking that I'd like to take you to lunch and take a stroll on the beach afterwards." Izuku heard Momo squeal in excitement. He said, "I'll pick you up at 12:30, so Izuku took a shower and got dressed in this outfit. To top it off he put on a pair of black and white sneakers and left home to pick up his girlfriend. He jumped in his car and headed for her home, and as he pulled into her driveway he couldn't believe how big a mansion she lived in. Momo began turning red as she saw how handsome her boyfriend was dressed. She got in the car and they drove to eat at a family restaurant. After their meal was finished they paid. As they left Izuku heard a familiar voice, "Oh Deku." It was none other than Katsuki Bakugo. Inside Izuku's mind, "Oh god damn it, why did this person show up on such a great day? Everything was going well. What's up Katsuki? Need something?" Bakugo in fury said, "The hag, his mom said you driving a car and motorcycle." Izuku with an annoyed face said, "Yeah, but why do you even care?" Don't act high and might, you villainous Quirk loser. Izuku, getting irritated by Bakugo, said, look, I'm in the middle of something far more important than you, so would you leave me alone? Kitsuki, growing more infuriated, said, who's more important than me? As Kitsuki saw Momo, a hitch like her is more important, you probably paid for her service. As Izuku pinned Kitsuki to the wall, he used enough force to create a small dent in the wall. Look here boy, you can insult me all you want, but if you ever call my woman a hitch again, it's the last mistake you are ever going to make. As Izuku finished threatening Kitsuki, Momo felt the need to ask, who was that someone you know? Yeah, that was my childhood friend, the one who caused everyone to isolate me. As Izuku told Momo about his childhood, she said, I don't care what your quirk is like, I know you can prove them wrong, show the world that your power of darkness can be used for good. Even if the world is against you, I'll always be by your side no matter what. The words that Momo spoke filled Izuku with more determination than ever before, and so they spent the rest of the afternoon at the beach, and he drove her home. Now Izuku was ready to continue his training later that night. Izuku received a message from All Might young Midoriya, are you ready to continue your training tomorrow? Without hesitation Izuku replied, yes, training begins at 6 AM sharp. Knock knock. As a knock was heard, Izuku opened his bedroom door. It was his father Hiyashi. Hey dad, what's up? Everything okay? Izuku asked, and his broke down in tears, son, I'm sorry for not being there for you when you needed me the most. Izuku could smell the alcohol on his father. Dad, have you been drinking? Inko rushed to her son's room to see her husband drunk, trying to receive forgiveness from his only son. Izuku met his father's gaze and said, I'm not upset dad, you had to work in order to provide for us. Hiyashi wept and was thankful to have been blessed with his son. I'm back to training tomorrow, so I'll be back later. Izuku told his parents to give them a heads up, but Hiyashi turned around and asked his son, will you have a beer with me? Izuku, confused out of his mind, said, you do know I'm a minor, right? Inko gave her permission. Have a drink with your dad. Once you start high school you'll be getting married and you won't see much of us anymore. Small tears fell from Inko's face. And so they talked and enjoyed the night, because in the eyes of his parents, he wasn't a kid anymore, he had become a young man. Chapter 6 Final Training Surprise 2. Izuku woke up fine after drinking with his dad. He did his usual routine, took a shower, made breakfast, and left for Dagaba Municipal Beach. He left a note on top of the breakfast for his parents. Good morning, enjoy this nutritious meal I've made, and I'll see you guys later. As Izuku grabbed his motorcycle helmet he drove to Dagaba Beach, and as he got there he saw a familiar figure standing with the sunrise at her back. It was none other than Momo, his girlfriend. What are you doing here? Izuku asked her. I dropped by because I had to give you this. It was a basket full of turkey sandwiches. Izuku, to be honest, I've seen you train here before and didn't want to bother you, but when my father said I was to marry the son of his friend, my hair broke a bit to think I wouldn't be able to see you again, but when my father showed me a picture of you saying you and I were to marry, I was very excited. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. Izuku stared at Momo for some time and he said to her, close your eyes. She did as he said and Izuku kissed her on the lips, and as he pulled away he whispered in her ear, how was I blessed with a girlfriend like you? At this point Momo lost her self-control and grabbed Izuku, kissed and held that kiss until they were both out of breath, and she ripped off his shirt and saw his well-sculpted body. She lost control again, and she was also careful not to hurt his black angel wing. Momo then pushed Izuku down onto the sandy beach and she gave him another kiss that left him breathless. That's when she started to move her hand from his chest down to his lower half as she felt a big bulge and she began to rub it. That's when Izuku switched position and she was on the sand. His hand made its way under her shirt and he grabbed her breast and began squeezing. She moaned lightly and Izuku had a devilish smile at that very moment. Enter All Might. Brian, whoa, what is this? I see my pupil engaging in public indecency. At this moment both Izuku and Momo's faces were red as hell as they received a long lecture from All Might about keeping their urges in check and knowing the right place and time for these things. Momo spoke, I only came to drop off some lunch for my boyfriend and then I had some business to attend to. As Momo said goodbye to her boyfriend they kissed as she departed home. I'll text you when training is done, okay, babe, Izuku said. Now that the commotion was over, All Might asked, what happened during your time off? Izuku began to recap the events that happened during his time off, and All Might began to understand what happened a few moments ago, and so without wasting any more time, shall we continue from where we left off? Ask All Might. Now we only have 5 months to prepare you for the UA entrance exam, so we will work with a reliable friend called Blunt Force Trauma. 4 months later. It's been 4 months. The relationship between Izuku and Momo has gotten stronger, and Izuku is ready to take the entrance exam. Young Midoriya, you've grown far more powerful than I expected and you will be able to get accepted into UA. Your test is tomorrow, so get some rest. As All Might said this, Izuku had toned his well-sculpted body and departed for home. He felt his pocket vibrate. There was a text and it read, hi honey, how was training? Are you ready for tomorrow? It was Momo. She always sent text to check up on her boyfriend. Izuku replied, Hey beautiful, thanks for checking in on me. Yeah, tomorrow is my entrance exam, I'm prepared. As this message was sent, Izuku received a call from his father. Hiashi. Hey Izuku, are you on your way back from training? Izuku. Hey dad, yeah, I'm heading back now. Is something wrong? Is everything okay? Hiashi. Yes, everything is fine. I wanted to let you know I got a surprise for you when you get home. Izuku. Okay, I'll see you when I get home. Izuku began to think what his father had planned by saying he had a surprise, so he rushed home. As he opened the door, both Midoriya and Yaoyorozu families were present, and both parents gave their children keys. Both Izuku and Momo were confused, and then Hiashi spoke and said these 2 keys are for the door to your new home. Both Momo and Izuku were confused. Izuku went to his room and saw nothing, no better his bass guitar or posters of heroes. Izuku said, yelled in confusion, where is all my stuff? Like I mentioned, it's at your house, spoke Hiashi, and he gave Izuku the directions to his new home bought by the Yaoyorozu family. Mr. Yaoyorozu said, this will be your home, and also your hero headquarters when you both become pros. As Izuku and Momo got in Izuku's car, they drove until reaching destination. What they saw was a waterfall. Confused Momo heard his cell phone vibrate. It was a message that said the behind the waterfall. Izuku took the risk and decided to drive straight into the waterfall, but the waterfall had cut the flow, and to his surprise they saw this. The beautiful elegant mansion just for the 2 of them, surrounded by mountains and having complete privacy and no neighbors to disturb them. Izuku and Momo looked as they opened their new home. The living room was decorated beautifully, and they checked to see how many bedrooms there were, but to their surprise, it was a huge mansion with 1 master bedroom. Both Izuku and Momo couldn't believe that their parents would arrange for them to move in together a week before Izuku's entrance exam. Momo was excited to see that she wouldn't be separated from her boyfriend anymore, and when they were exploring their new home, they walked into their bedroom and set a box of condoms with a note attached that read, you're both too young to start a family, so be safe from love, the Midoriya and Yaoyorozu families. Both teens were embarrassed. Momo said, let's use these when we are both ready. As Izuku nodded, they were ready to begin their new lives as newlyweds. To make it official, they signed the paperwork. At a later date they will hold the ceremony. Chapter 7 Entrance Exam. The next morning, as Izuku woke up in bed, he remembers that he's no longer living at home with mom and dad, and as he feels something next to him move, he lifts the covers and sees Momo. At this moment he remembers that they got married after signing the paperwork and will hold the wedding at a later time. Good morning honey, Momo said as she saw Izuku's face. As Izuku heard this, he replied, good morning beautiful. As he stroked her cheek, Izuku looked at the clock and saw that it was 7 a.m. The entrance exam didn't start till 8, and so Izuku got dressed and mentally prepared himself for the test. Before leaving, he made breakfast for himself and his wife, and Izuku left a note that said, I made you breakfast, hope you enjoy. And Izuku got his car keys and left for UA so he wouldn't be late for his exam. As Izuku drove, he made to UA. As he began walking up the stairs to the school, he tripped and almost fell. Before he could catch himself, he was floating. It was a girl with brown hair. She had a bob hairstyle. She said, sorry, I used my quirk on you without permission. It would be bad luck if you had fallen. Izuku then bowed and thanked the girl. He then introduced himself. I'm Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you. She politely introduced herself as Uraraka Achako. As they went inside for orientation given by Hero Present Mick, as he explained the point system, a robot-like student asked as to why there were 4 robots when only 3 were mentioned. Present Mick explained about the faux villian being worth 0 points, and without any delay, the future young heroes headed for a fake city built to be used as testing grounds. As Izuku spotted Achako, he was going to wish her luck when he was stopped by the robot-like student. Were you going to distract her? If you're only here for friends, then leave. Without noticing, the fake city opened up and Izuku rushed inside. As Present Mick said, you'd better hurry. Izuku already had a 10-point lead. Everyone saw him shoot black fire from his hand and were surprised to see a villainous quirk. At this point, Izuku accumulated an extra 40 points when he saw everyone run away as the giant 0-pointer arrived. As everyone ran, Izuku heard a cry for help. Achako was trapped under the debris, and without hesitation, Izuku flew to face off against the robot. Izuku felt a massive power surge in his left arm. At the top of his lungs he yelled, shadow storm. Black lightning flew from his hand and the robot short-circuited. To finish it off, Izuku used a shadow dive to drill a hole through it. As he looked to be falling from the sky, he teleported where Achako was and lifted the debris off her. He asked, can you stand? Achako couldn't. Her leg broke as Izuku carried her bridal style. An old woman with a doctor's coat asked anyone was injured. She was known as Recovery Girl. As Izuku approached her, he said, this girl has a broken leg. Recovery Girl kissed Achako on the forehead, and in an instant she could walk again. The test was declared over. Everyone left, and Izuku made his way to his car when he was stopped by Achako. Out of breath, she said, thank you for saving me during the exam, I appreciate it. Wait, is this your car? Izuku said, yes, this is my car. If you're still not feeling well, I can give you a ride home. It's no trouble. She took him up on his offer and got a ride home. Izuku then made his way home, and as he pulled into the driveway he began to get lost in thought, and when he got out of his car, he was rushed by his beloved wife Momo, and a bit shocked Izuku wondered what happened. I was lonely after you left. And I couldn't wait until you came back. I also made you lunch, Momo said with a cheerful voice, and now the two would have to wait for their results to get to them. It would take about a week. 1 week later. 2 letters came for them in the mail. Momo opened her letter first. It read, Dear Momo Yaoi Rozu, we here at the prestigious school known as UA happily invite you who has scored the highest in the academic portion of the entrance exam, which gained you entry through scholarship. We expect to see you a week from today at UA. Momo squealed at her acceptance. Now the moment of truth. It was Izuku's turn. As Izuku opened his letter, it was a video message from All Might. Hello young Midoriya, I All Might have a message for you. We here at UA have reviewed you and decided that you have the stuff of what heroes are made of, so UA extends its open arms to you and we will gladly see you here next week. As Midoriya began to weep, Momo thought they were tears of sorrow when in reality they were of joy. That's when Izuku uttered, this is the where I can prove those who didn't believe I couldn't be a hero with the quirk I was born with. Momo spoke and said, if they don't accept you I will always be by your side, even if the whole world is against us. These words comforted Izuku, and he felt calm and at peace with himself. The next day. Both had gotten dressed and were ready to leave for UA. They got into Izuku's car and drove near the school. As they both made their way to the school, Izuku asked Momo what class she was in. She said class 1. Izuku said, oh, we'll be in the same class then. At this very moment, Izuku walked in and received stares from everyone, and they rushed him asking him question about what they heard. About him passing the entrance exam. Izuku heard a voice full of energy. Hi Midoriya. It was none other than Uraraka, and behind her was Katsuki Bakugo, followed by the robot-like kid from the orientation who introduced himself as Tenya Iida and asked Izuku to forgive him for being rude toward him before the exam began. As the school bell rang, they saw a man in a sleeping bag crawl toward the desk and introduce himself as Asawa Sensei, or aka Pro Hero Racer Head. He spoke and said, get dressed into your PE uniforms. Uraraka. Excuse me sensei, won't we be late to the opening ceremony of the school? Asawa. In the hero world evil never sleeps, so we don't have time to waste with the opening ceremony. Now hurry and meet me on the PE field. As the students got dressed and went to the PE field, Asawa said, with your quirk, I will test how strong, fast and adaptable you are. If you rank lowest out of the class I'll have you expelled. Events occurred as canon. First test was the hand grip, and Izuku, without trying hard, he broke the hand grip tool and he showed how much power he had. Finally it was. Izuku was against Iida in a sprint, and as the starting gun sounded they took off and their times were clocked and Iida 2.5 seconds. Izuku came in with 1.5 seconds. Everyone stood in awe as Izuku was seen to be faster than Iida. The final test was the ball throw. Izuku was up, and as he threw the ball, Asawa Sensei erased his quirk and grabbed Izuku by his PE uniform and said, you're holding back. Unleash your true power, or are you just here to be a half-assed hero? As those words spun around Izuku's head, he concentrated a small amount of dark aura as he threw the ball. The dark aura exploded with a great boom and sent the ball into space. Izuku's score was infinity. He left everyone speechless. Asawa. I have added up everyone's score, and the student with the lowest was Miniata Minoru. Go to the class and grab your belongings. There is no place for you here. As for the rest of you, take the syllabus and look over what's to be expected of you. As Asawa dismissed the class for the day, an announcement was made. Would Izuku, Midoriya and Momo Yaoi Rozu report to the principal's office? As the two went to the office, they opened the door, being greeted by All Might and a small bear-like mouse named Nezu, and the students asked the principal, why are we here? Principal Nezu. I would like to discuss the marriage between the two of you. Quick recap. Now that the principal was caught up with these events, he said, it's fine, just keep this hidden from the other students until you're ready to tell them, and I'll inform the teachers of your relationship. The two young heroes were headed home and everything turned out fine on their first day. Chapter 8, Heroes vs Villains. The next day, as Izuku and Momo wake up, they get dressed and get ready for school. Izuku saw there was enough time to have breakfast and he began to cook some eggs. Pancakes and beef bacon. The smell of the delicious food. Momo rushed downstairs and sat down waiting to eat. As Izuku finished cooking, he served himself and enjoyed this meal with his wife. They finished and hopped into Izuku's car and made their way to school. As they walked in and sat down, the bell had rung and they heard a familiar voice, for I am walking in like a regular person. It was none other than All Might, the number one hero and Izuku's mentor. As All Might spotted Izuku, young Midoriya, it's great to see you again. Everyone began to stare at Izuku, since it seemed that he and All Might were close. Well, let's not waste any more time, said All Might as he pushed a button and suitcases appeared from the wall's hidden compartment. These are your hero suits, the ones you've designed and submitted. Izuku went with something suitable for comfort, combat and style. As everyone was hyped to see what everyone else's costumes looked like. Everyone heard footsteps. They wondered who it was, and they got louder until Izuku appeared in his hero costume. The leather was fireproof, and the armor that protected his shoulders was made from titanium, but was coated with a special alloy that made it lightweight, so it wouldn't make his movement slow. The suit was also padded, so it would reduce damage taken. As all the girls saw him, they noticed he wasn't just skinny, but he had some muscles. They all turned red, especially Momo, due to the fact that she is his wife. Match is canon to manga. We now proceed to the match we've all been waiting for. Katsuki Bakugo and Tenya Iida vs Izuku Midoriya and Uraraka Ichako. Now Izuku starts to plan with Uraraka. Izuku. You know how All Might said it would be a 2-on-2 match. Ichako. Yeah. Izuku. How would you feel if I told you we would have the upper hand with a 3 vs 2 fight? Ichako looked really confused, so Izuku explained how he can create clones of himself to assist in combat. All Might said, begin the recovery operation of the fake bomb. Izuku created his clone. Everyone in the observation room was in awe of how high level Izuku was. Hero team had 3 members now, and an explosion occurred, and the walls were destroyed. Bakugo. Die Deku die. Said Katsuki in a fit of rage as Izuku countered Bakugo's right hook and pinned him long enough for Ichako and his clone to secure the bomb. As Ichako on Izuku's clone advanced, the real Izuku held Bakugo back from noticing anything, and Katsuki was engulfed with rage. Izuku was evading Katsuki with fluid movements, and this made Katsuki even more furious. Katsuki. Hold still, bastard. Izuku. Your swings are wide and you gotta control your anger. Katsuki. Fuck you. Katsuki reached for his gauntlet's pin and said, time to die. All Might. Young Bakugo, if you unleash your quirk at full power it will kill young Midoriya, don't do it. As Katsuki unleashed his full power, he saw no sign of Deku until Izuku appeared from the shadows as he shouted, infernal uppercut. As contact was made, Izuku had rattled Katsuki's brain as he was no longer able to move. As Izuku handcuffed Katsuki at the same time, All Might's voice sounded off. All Might. The hero team wins. Izuku contacted Ichako through headset. Did everything go well? Ichako. Yeah, everything is okay. It took us a bit of time to make a plan to sneak past Iida. As they went to the observation room, everyone rushed Izuku trying to ask him questions, and he saw Momo as she took a breath of relief, knowing her husband was fine. As the rest of the matches went on, they weren't as exciting as Izuku's, but as they all changed to go home, Izuku was rushed by several classmates. They were Mina Ishido, Sayu Asui, Toru Hagakure, Ijiro Kirishima, and Denki Kaminari. As they all introduced themselves, they all complimented Izuku on his match and asked him whether that was his full strength. Izuku. No, the power which you saw me use during this match is only 2% of what I can really do. Everyone. What? Izuku. Yeah, I had to restrain my power, if not I would have actually killed him. As everyone was in shock and disbelief, Izuku said, I was blessed with this quirk of darkness. I plan to use it and become the one hero and show those who said I wouldn't be accepted by anyone because of this quirk. I will show them that I can become a hero even with this dark power. Kirishima. Midoriya, you are one hell of a man. Prove those people wrong. I as your classmates will stand at your side. Izuku. Thanks Kirishima, it mean a lot to hear that from a new classmate. Kirishima. Classmate. From this point on we're friends, not just classmates, so whenever you need backup count on me. As Kirishima said this, Izuku saw that his world opening up and people were starting to accept him for his quirk. Katsuki. Deku, you villainous bastard, you were holding back. Izuku. I had to, if not you would have died. Growing up you claimed to have the strongest and best quirk, but in reality you are weak and can't stand to see anyone stronger than you, so throw your temper tantrum, you hitch. As Izuku said this, everyone waited to see what would happen, and without hesitation Katsuki rushed Izuku and used a technique called Shadow Step, which created an afterimage to confuse opponent. After Katsuki fell for it, he received a hard body shot to the ribs, causing a few to be fractured thanks to Izuku. Katsuki's facial expression was as if he had realized how weak he truly was. Chapter 9 Weekend. This was the first weekend that has occurred now that Izuku and Momo were in high school. The morning of the weekend, Izuku had gotten up early, did his usual workout routine, showered, then made breakfast for himself and Momo. Then Momo asked, do you have any plans today? As Izuku was about to reply, his phone had rang because a text message, and it was Kirishima. It read, me and the guys are getting together, join in with us. A few moments later Momo's phone had vibrated. It was from Ishido. Hey Momo, we're having a girls' day, come and join us. They both looked at each other and said see you later. Izuku got in his car and drove to the meeting spot where the guys would meet. As Izuku arrived he honked and nobody noticed it was him until he got out of the car, and those who were meeting up were Kirishima, Kaminari, Iida, and Tokoyami. The guys were in awe seeing Izuku get out of the car as he asked, what are we doing today? As everyone was shocked, Iida began his ranting. The Izuku flashed his driver's license to shut him up, and after doing so Iida shut up. Kaminari. can we go anywhere? Izuku yelled, let's do anything while we still got light out. All the guys hopped in Izuku's car and they were going to the beach to chill and hang out, but Izuku mentioned to eat and then plan more things to do before hitting the beach. At the same time the girls were getting together. The girls group that consisted of Momo, Achako, Ashido, Toru, Sayu and Kyokujiro. After all girls had gotten together, they tried to plan their own activity. Coincidentally Ashido mentioned let's go to the beach, Momo mentioned let's eat before, and then we can plan more things to do before we hit the beach. As the girls began to walk to a close restaurant, Momo noticed an Iron Maiden shirt and they began talking about music. Jiro. Wow yaoi Rozu, I didn't think you'd like this type of music. Momo. Just call me Momo, and yes I actually saw them live here before the entrance exams took place. But that comment Jiro was filled with Yulausi, how were you able to get tickets? You have to have amazing connections. Momo. I was invited by II Chance. Inside Momo's thoughts. I almost blew the secret, but the principal said we could tell people we trusted. I'd like to trust these girls, but I'll wait a bit longer before I tell them. I wonder how Izuku is doing. Jiro. Earth to Momo, you okay? You spaced out for a bit. Momo, sorry I got lost in thought. The second she said that she saw a familiar someone, it was Izuku as Achako called out to him. Achako. Midoriya. As Izuku turned around he saw Uraraka. Izuku. Hey Uraraka, what are you doing here? Achako. I'm having a girls' day with some of the girls from school. Izuku. Yeah, same with us guys' day. That's when Kirishima said, why don't we just combine the two groups, the more the merrier, right? Everyone seemed to be in agreement. Izuku said, before we go in the restaurant let me lock my car. Now it was the girls who were in awe to see Izuku had one hell of a car. Even Momo was in awe, but she only played the part since she and Izuku were married. It didn't seem like the best time to reveal the secret to everyone just yet. And at that moment, Izuku spoke. Hi yaoi Rozu-san, it's nice to see you again, how have you been? Momo went along with the act and responded naturally, it's a pleasure Midoriya-san. I'm doing well, thank you for asking, it's a pleasure to see you again. At this point Kirishima and Kaminari began to violently shake Izuku. How do you know the most beautiful girl in our class? After the violent shaking ended, Izuku explained how his dad came home and how there was a company dinner and that's how they met. It was also a clever cover story for the truth until it was a real chance to tell everyone that he and Momo were married. But that they entered the restaurant and began to order food. While they waited for food to be brought, they were planning on what to do. Both Ashido and Kirishima voted for the beach and everyone else wasn't sure what they wanted to do and the day was just going to be wasted just by planning. That's when Izuku spoke. Izuku. I have an idea, but I'm not sure everyone is going to like it. Everyone was staring at Izuku and said in unison, we're open to anything at this point. Izuku. I know this place where the live entertainment is famous bands who just happen to be in the area and decide to do a free concert. Izuku surprised everyone, especially Jiro, who is a huge fan of musicians and is a musician herself. She didn't know of a spot like this. As the food arrived they all ate and then paid for their meals. As they were going to realized Izuku's car wouldn't be big enough for everyone. That's when Izuku pushed a button on his car alarm, which made the car transform into a Chevy Equinox. Everyone was in shock again, and Izuku said, not a problem, now we have more seating room. Kirishima. How on earth did you make it transform into a minivan? Izuku. Long story short, when you're isolated and have no friends, you either pick up how to do amazing things, or you don't do anything but mope around wondering if people will start feeling sorry for you. Now let's go, we're wasting time. As everyone heard those words from Izuku, they were all glad that he shared a bit about himself. As they got to the live house, it looked like an abandoned building. As everyone saw the building they questioned Izuku if this was the right location. Izuku said, wait till we get inside, it will blow your minds. As they got to the entrance they saw how well decorated it was. And the sound of music coming from the stage made everyone say this is way better than the beach, and so they sat and enjoyed the opening band. But the main event was next. It was none other than Camelot. As they saw Izuku and Momo, they greeted them as if they were old friends and asked Izuku to play a song with them like he did during the music festival. As Izuku was about to perform with the band they asked him to sing the first song. When they began to play, Izuku's friends heard him sing and the girls began to blush and the guys were shocked he could sing like an angel. As the song ended everyone rushed Izuku to praise him, and so the day ended well. Izuku exchanged numbers with those who didn't have his number and he dropped everyone off home so he knew everyone was safe. Chapter 10 USJ Incident. It was another day and time for school. Both Izuku and Momo tired from a fun weekend by hanging out with friends, staying up late watching movies at home, but it was time to resume hero training, and so as Hei arrived at school, Izuku noticed something different about Iida. He had learned to relax and not be so uptight. Everyone in class was kinda freaked out by Iida's change. As the bell rang for class, Asawa-sensei had an announcement. Everyone get your hero costumes on and board the buses outside. We will be doing simulation rescues in different environments. As everyone got dressed and boarded the buses, everyone began to talk, and Izuku began to feel a familiar sensation on his back, but Momo asked him in a low tone, "Are you okay, honey?" Izuku answered, "Yeah, but I feel like something is about to happen." "Well, it might be nothing at all," Izuku thought, and we arrived at USJ. We were greeted by Hero No.13, who was a hero that specializes in rescues. He said, "Welcome to your next lesson in becoming heroes. It's rescue scenarios." Kirishima had cut off Hero No.13. "Are we doing rescues while having to fight off villains?" No.13, "This isn't part of your test, those are real villains." "How did they get in?" Asawa. "That's not important right now, get my students to safety." As Hero No.13 rounded up the class, a villain appeared to block the escape route, and before Hero 13 could react, Katsuki and Kirishima reacted and attacked the shadow villain. At the same time, he used a teleportation technique and separated all the students to be attacked by the villains. Izuku was teleported and stood beside Momo, Ida, Ichako and Tsuyu. They were on the boat that simulated a stranded ship. As the boat was surrounded by villains, Izuku flew and shouted, "Dark Storm!" as black lightning flew from his left hand. Izuku electrocuted the villains swimming in the water. As they cleared that obstacle, Izuku saw Asawa-sensei losing ground against the villains surrounding him. Izuku told his group to meet up with the rest of the class. "Momo. Where are you going, Izuku?" "Izuku, I'm going to help Asawa-sensei. I'm not going to have blood on my hands." "Momo, just be careful, don't do anything reckless." As Izuku manifested his sword of darkness, he jumped in, and Asawa-sensei asked, "Why would you risk your life for me?" As Izuku said, "I want to help people. That's why I joined this school, to become a hero. Even if people call me a villain due to my power to control darkness." Asawa couldn't argue. He was glad to have some backup, and out of nowhere appeared a man with white hair who furiously scratched his neck as if he was going through withdrawal. He announced, "My name is Shigaraki Tamura, and I've come to kill All Might." Izuku. "Well, Mr. Tamura, hate to break it to you, but he isn't here, only us heroes in training." Shigaraki. "Well, that's the point, boy, surely All Might will come if I kill all of you." Izuku. "As long as I stand, I won't allow anything that can harm my friends." At that moment, Tamura yelled Naomu, and this hulking figure with obsidian-colored skin and its brain exposed blindsided Asawa-sensei and began to beat him to a pulp in front of Izuku. Yelled, "Dark Repulse," but as Izuku did, the Naomu wasn't affected, and Izuku was punched and sent flying. His body was strong enough to support the punch as Tamura walked towards the bloody and beaten Asawa, and as Tamura touched Sensei's arm, it began to disintegrate. Izuku rushed with his shadow sword and began hacking and slashing. It seemed to work, but the creature known as Naomu had a regeneration quirk. Izuku threw a shadow kick that sent the Naomu flying, and at this time Izuku grabbed Asawa and regrouped with the class. As he got there, everyone saw Sensei and was shocked at how injured he was. Shigaraki Tamura. Kurogiri, come to my side at once. Listen, young heroes, I'll give you 5 minutes to make a plan so you can save as many lives that you can before I kill all of you. As Class 1A was trapped and in a panic, nobody took charge, and Asawa said, "I'm sorry I failed to protect you guys." Asawa fell asleep, and in Izuku's mind, he imagined everyone die before his eyes. It was something that he couldn't allow. Izuku took his stance and said, "I'll hold them back while all of you run. I don't care if I die here. We are training to be heroes. If it means sacrifice myself to help other, I'll gladly do so." Kirishima. "Are you nuts? No way you can take an army that big on your own." Then Ida. "Midoriya, please reconsider and think there must be another way to do this." Izuku grew angry and began to channel the deep reserves of his dark power. He was going to let the darkness consume him in order to be able to protect his new friends as Izuku gained more and more power inside Izuku's mind. As Izuku began to unleash his power of darkness, he was being consumed by it in his mind, but as the darkness was slowly taking over his being, Izuku began to hear voices in his head. "Inko. Honey, you were blessed with this quirk. People will call you a villain, but prove them wrong and show them you can be a hero." Hiashi. "Son, I'm sorry for not being there when you needed me, but I'm here now and always will be." Kirishima. "We're not just classmates, we're friends now. I got your back." Ichako. "Deku, thanks for saving me during the entrance exam. If I can ever help, let me know and I'll be there." Ida. "Midoriya, you've showed me a balance between being uptight and having fun. I thank you for teaching me. If you ever need my assistance, you have my full support." Momo. "Even if you unleash your full power and nobody wants to accept you, just know I'll always stand by your side. I won't care if it's us against the world." All Might. "Young Midoriya, always remember, even in the depth of darkness, you will always find a ray of light." As these voices spoke, the darkness which tried to consume Izuku faded and was replaced by a white light. As everyone witnessed the dark aura that Izuku emitted, they were taken back when the dark aura had faded and was replaced by a pure white aura. As Izuku kept this power flow going, he felt the same sensation as the day his quirk manifested, but this time on his right side, an angel wing as white as snow had developed from Izuku. Everyone stood in awe as Izuku had pushed the boundaries of his power, manifesting a second wing. Izuku had mastered all powers of light. It was the same concept as his dark powers. He created two swords, one of darkness and one of light. As he fused them, this was the result of it. The balance between light and dark, the harmony blade at 12 feet length. Izuku turned to his friends and said, "I'll delay them, so run and get to safety." Izuku charged at the massive villian army and knocked out half of the army. As the villains saw they were no match for this new power, Shigaraki yelled, "Namu, kill this kid." Izuku had channeled all his energy to his sword and began to slice at the Namu's joint areas. The Namu's regeneration quirk wasn't working. Izuku shouted, "Chains of purgatory, these chains will only be removed by Izuku." Shigaraki, Tamara. Kurogiri, let's retreat and come back with more power. Kurogiri, as you wish, we shall leave. They both fled and Izuku, exhausted from using too much power, he began to cough up blood as the doors to USJ slammed open. "I am here," All Might shouted, and he and all the pro heroes who came as backup saw all villains chained up and subdued. Izuku passed out in a small pool of the blood he coughed up. Chapter 11 USJ Aftermath. After the pro heroes arrived at the USJ, they saw Izuku in a small pool of blood and they feared that he had been killed in action, and All Might had picked up the unconscious body of Izuku Midoriya, took him to the ambulance outside. As the other pros rounded up the villains, the one who was most shocked to see Izuku was none other than his wife Momo. She broke down in tears saying, "Momo. Izuku baby, please don't leave me, I couldn't stand to the thought of living without you." As All Might boarded the ambulance, he signaled over to Momo to join him in the escort of young Midoriya to the hospital. As everyone from 1A was confused as to why Momo broke down in tears, the rest of the students were being questioned by police as to what happened. They asked with concern what hospital their friend Midoriya was being taken to. The police officer said he was going to be at the Gaba Municipal Hospital. The students were then escorted back to school, then home. The students protested to be escorted toward the hospital. The students begged to be escorted so they could see their friend who bravely faced a dangerous situation. Back inside the ambulance. "Momo. Thank you for allowing me to come and be with Midoriya." All Might sensei. "All Might. It's no trouble at all, besides you are his wife, aren't you? When I first saw Midoriya, he was trying to hold back the darkness. I taught him how to do so. After he met you, it became easier to do so, and once he told me you guys signed the marriage papers, you're all he talks about." Momo began to blush as All Might told her everything the two talked about while in the ambulance, and one of the medics said, "He's not bleeding out, there's no cuts anywhere." As the medic applied pressure to his chest, Izuku was awoken and yelled, "Ow, son of a." He wondered where he was as he looked at All Might and Momo. "Izuku. Where am I?" "Medic. We're on our way to Dagaba Hospital. You have 4 broken ribs and try not to move it, you keep moving you might puncture your lung." All Might. "Whose blood were you covered in, young Midoriya?" "Izuku. When I gained this new power after I defeated all villains, I coughed up a lot of blood, then collapsed in the puddle." All Might. "I'm glad it's not too serious, just some broken bones. You might suffer a bit more right now." As All Might pointed across from him, Izuku saw none other than his wife with tears running down her face. "Momo. Why you big idiot, why did you have to worry me? I thought I lost you, I felt like a piece of me died, thinking I would never see you again." As Momo slammed her head in Izuku's chest, he cried out, "Ouch, are you trying to break more of my bones?" "Momo. Maybe I should break another bone to teach you a lesson for scaring me." As Momo's tears hit Izuku, he held her as best he could without having his broken ribs hurt him. As they arrived at the hospital, Izuku gave Momo his mom and dad's number and he told her, "Call either of them. If one doesn't answer, let them know what happened." Momo nodded, and as Izuku went toward an X-ray room to see if anything else was wrong, Momo called Inko first. First cell phone call. Ring. "Inko, hello, who is this?" "Momo. Hello mother, it's Momo." "Inko dear, what a pleasant surprise to get a call from you, is everything okay?" "Momo. I wish that I had better news, but Izuku is in the hospital." Inko didn't react, she went silent and asked. "Inko. Is my son still alive?" "Momo, yes, but he has 4 broken ribs and I'll fill you in when you and father get here to the Dagaba hospital." "Inko. We'll be there as soon as possible." As Inko ended the call, All Might called Recovery Girl and had Izuku healed, but 3 of his ribs were far too damaged for Recovery Girl to heal them, so the doctors of the hospital had prepared a special method to make a cast for the rib area, which would be tight and not extremely bulky, so he will still be able to move. As the main doctor approached Izuku, "Hello, I'm Dr. Yamanaka. If you're Izuku Midoriya, I'd like to speak with you about your quirk. Is there anyone who is here with you, so we can inform them as well?" "Izuku. My wife Momo is here right now and my parents should be on their way." Dr. Yamanaka. Very well, we shall wait for your parents. After the doctor said that, Inko and Hiashi burst through the door in a panic looking for their son. As they saw Izuku, they noticed he grew another wing, and Dr. Yamanaka signaled to them. Dr. Yamanaka. You must be Izuku's parents. Well, Midoriya family, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear? Midoriya family. Let's hear the bad news first. Yamanaka. Bad news is that Izuku still has 3 broken ribs, but since his quirk allows him to heal faster, he will heal in 2 to 3 weeks. Midoriya family. So what's the good news? Yamanaka. I just told you he will heal faster. Hiashi. Why did my son grow a second wing? Yamanaka. The reason he grew a second wing was because his quirk has now fully manifested. Everyone looked at Dr. Yamanaka in confusion, so he explained that since Izuku suffered isolation and bullying, his darkness manifested rapidly, but as he began to make friends and remembered the people in his life who are supporting him, his light was able to manifest, which also led to the white wing on his right side, so it means Izuku had become far more powerful than anyone could imagine. Later that afternoon, as Izuku's parents left the hospital after finding out he was going to be okay, they left to grab takeout meals so that the two couples could enjoy spending a reunion together. Momo. Izuku, I can't imagine what I'd do without you. Izuku. I'm sorry to worry you, but I felt that I needed to protect everyone. That's what it means to be a hero. Momo. I know being a hero comes with major risks and… At this moment Izuku shut Momo up by kissing her on the lips, and as he pulled away he whispered, no matter what, I won't die and leave you alone, I'll keep you safe, and this made Momo kiss him, and as their lips made contact the class of 1A burst through the door, shouting, Midoriya, we've come to visit. Catching both Momo and Izuku in the middle of their makeout session, the two blushed deep red after being caught by their classmates. All the guys were filled with jealousy and Bakugo charged at Izuku with him shouting, Deku, how dare you get a girl before me? All Might stepped in and said, young Bakugo, this is a hospital, not a battlefield. All Might had some handcuffs and restrained him. Full explanation to everyone about their relationship. Everybody understood and the girls were all jealous after hearing about Izuku cooking and cleaning just for Momo. This conversation was interrupted by Principal Nezu as he walked in. Nezu. Hello students of class 1A, I hope all of you are doing well considering the events which have passed. Izuku. Principal Nezu, what's going on? Is everything okay? Nezu. Izuku, Midoriya, you are a hero, you managed to save the lives of your classmates and teachers. Izuku. Speaking of teachers, how is Asawa-sensei? Nezu. Asawa is going to be okay, he sends his gratitude for saving his life, Midoriya. But with a heavy heart I have to say UA will be closing for 2 weeks until we can investigate this incident thoroughly. Everyone was in shock as Nezu walked away. Everyone wondered what they would do for 2 weeks without any training. They would get sloppy. Izuku. I have a suggestion, why don't all of you stay with Momo and we can set up a training camp and have fun while we're at it. Everyone was excited. The only 2 people who missed Izuku say this were Todoroki and Bakugo. Those 2 had no interest in such an event. Chapter 12, Midoriya's Training Camp PT.1. Small summary after USJ. This was during the time that UA was going to be closed for 2 weeks, and Izuku and Momo have told everyone about their relationship. Now that the secret was out and school would be closed for 2 weeks due to the USJ incident, Izuku told his classmates that he would host a training camp for the 2 weeks, and everyone was welcomed. The 2 who didn't want to join were Todoroki and Bakugo. As Izuku volunteered to pick everyone up from their homes, that they would need 2 pro heroes to supervise the training camp. Luckily All Might and volunteered and Tenya Iida's brother was able to join. Flashback to the Iida household. Tenya Iida. Hey big brother, do you think you can do me a favor? Tensei Iida. Sure Tenya, what's up? Tenya. Do you think you could be a volunteer for a training camp my friend is holding at his home? Tensei. Sure, I'll be glad to help. What other pro is going to volunteer? Tenya. All Might and you, that's it. Tensei. All Might, how did your friend convince All Might to supervise this training camp? Tenya. All Might and my friend Midoriya are old acquaintances. End of flashback. As Izuku picked up all of the classmates who will attend this training camp, and those who will attend are Denki Kaminari, Kirishima Ijiro, Mashirao Ijiro, Tokoyami Fumikage, Achako Uraraka, Kayaka Jiro, Ashido Mina, Sayu Asui. These students are attending this training camp. As Izuku had finished picking up the attending students, everyone was shocked to see Izuku and Momo's home. The Iida brothers and All Might were the last to arrive. There was a buzz at the gated waterfall entrance. All Might, hello, this is All Might, along with me are the Iida siblings. Is this the residency of Izuku? Midoriya. Izuku. Hey All Might, yeah, let me buzz you guys in. As the waterfall stopped and All Might and the Iida siblings made their way to the top of the driveway, they too was astonished to see the home of Izuku and Momo, but right then and there Izuku said, "Welcome friends and pro heroes, who will be supervising this camp before we begin, let's get settled in guys, you follow me, and girls follow Momo." Izuku's group. Kirishima. Whoa Izuku, how the hell can you afford to live here? Izuku. Well, this home was a gift from my in-laws. Everyone. What, Momo's family is loaded? Izuku. Yeah, because her father worked hard to build his enterprise from the ground up and my father is an employee at his company, so as a wedding gift they gave us this house. Everyone. When was the wedding? Izuku. We haven't had the wedding ceremony, but we signed the marriage registration form, we're waiting for a good opportunity to appear so we can have the ceremony. Kirishima. You are such a man, Midoriya. Izuku. Thanks, I'll let you all know when the ceremony is and you're all invited. Well, this is where we will all be staying. Izuku said, pointed to two double doors, and as he opened it all the guys were in awe. It was a man cave that every guy dreamed of. Everyone there was guitars and bass guitars on the wall. In another section of the man cave was a home theater system. All the guys were astonished that Izuku had this massive man cave. As Izuku showed them to the rooms they would be staying in, he said, all rooms look alike, so don't worry about someone getting a better room. Everyone saw the rooms they would be staying in. They were excited to start the training camp. At the same time, the girls group. Momo escorted the girls who were in awe of the beautiful home she had. Ichako. How did you get this beautiful home, Momo? Momo. This was a gift from my parents after Izuku and I signed the marriage documents. All girls. What, when and how did you get married? Momo. Well, he caught my attention when I saw him at the Gaba beach cleaning and he was training to control his dark side and his determination attracted me. Then my father arranged a marriage for me with the son of his company worker. I felt heartbroken, thinking I might never get a chance to speak to Izuku. Then I find out my arranged marriage was with Izuku. All girls. Oh, that sweet Momo. As all the girls said in unison, but then Ishido spoke. Ishido. Suo, how far have you two gotten? Momo began to blush as she remembered the event at the beach when they were going to get busy, but they were interrupted by All Might the scolded for engaging in indecent acts in public. Ishido. I see you turning red. Yeah, Momo, you better spill the beans or we will ask Izuku himself. As Momo began to spill the juicy details about what happened on the beach, all the girls' faces were bright red and they all got embarrassed, but as they arrived at Momo's room, she opened the door and all girls saw. As the girls saw this beautiful room, they were all surprised to see that it had looked like a palace. Momo. Let's get settled in and then tomorrow we can officially begin the training camp. As both groups came together again, Izuku had said tomorrow begins the first day of training, let's enjoy the rest of this day, and so as Midoriya said this he had started putting on his apron and took a tray of raw meat and in cooked chicken outside everyone, but Momo was confused. Momo. Everyone please step outside. To the backyard where we will enjoy the rest of the day. As everyone stepped outside, the backyard was decorated like something out of my dream house catalog. Izuku was near the grill and he was seasoning the food so that it would be ready to go on the grill, and this left everyone, except for Momo, shocked that Izuku was going to cook, and everyone was watching the skill and mastery he had with cooking. Izuku. Hey, if any of you want to go swimming before the food's ready, please enjoy the pool to your heart's content. As everyone turned their heads the opposite direction, they saw this amazing pool and they all ran towards it. All Might and Tensei Iida stayed behind. Izuku, you two can enjoy yourselves and let me handle the food preparations, you are both my guests. All Might. Thank you, young Midoriya, I'll take you up on your offer. Tensei Iida. Excuse me, I haven't had the chance to introduce myself, I'm Tensei Iida, Tenya's older brother. Izuku. It's a pleasure to meet you, Iida-san. Tensei. Please just call me Tensei, and I'd like to thank you for teaching Tenya to relax a bit and enjoy himself. I'm glad he stopped acting like a robot. As Izuku and Tenya continued to talk, they became friends, and so Tensei left to enjoy what Izuku's home offered, and Izuku continued to cook while all the girls stared at him from poolside, and the guys were jealous but respected Izuku for staying humble about what he was given. Izuku. Alright guys, food's ready now, get over here before it gets cold. Everyone rushed to the grill to get some food. As they took a bite out of the food, it was well seasoned and cooked well, no pink in the middle. The whole camp had witnessed the delicious food that Momo gets to enjoy on a daily basis. The girls grew more and more jealous. Time skipped to the evening. Midoriya had planned a special surprise for his guests. Momo was in on it, so everyone was well relaxed sitting around the fire pit. He called for everyone. Izuku. Hey everyone, gather around please. Everyone. What's going on, is everything okay? Izuku. Yeah, everything is fine, it's just that I have a right to warn you all. Kirishima. What are you talking about, Midoriya? Ishido. Yeah, what do you mean by warn us? Everyone was confused. Just as Izuku planned, nobody suspected what was going to happen next. Izuku. Well, I'm going to tell you all the first experience I went through the first night Momo and I moved into this house. Izuku was handed one of his electric guitars from the man cave, courtesy of his wife Momo. As Izuku opened its case it began to shine. Izuku, I'll tell you this tale through song. As Izuku began to play, everyone around the fire pit had gotten a chill running down their spines. Suddenly the trees began to rustle, everyone trying to be cautious. They began hearing a second guitar and saw no one else as more instruments were being heard. As the music played faster, everyone was freaking out. Inside Midoriya's thoughts. But everyone is freaked out and don't suspect a thing. All Might seems to be close to figuring out what's happening. Back to the story. Izuku then used his teleportation to move into the area where sound was coming from. There appeared a stage with multiple Izukus, his clones he can produce, and they helped him set this little show up. After the song ended, Izuku spoke. Izuku, I hope you enjoyed the little show. This is how I plan to end the night after the 2-week training camp. Everyone was hyped and now more excited to begin the training. Chapter 13 Midoriya's Training Camp PT.2. After the arrival of everyone yesterday was just a kickback day. The following morning was when the real training began. The following morning everyone woke up early so that they could spend the entire day training, and so Izuku had prepared multiple clones to assist his friends to improve their quirks. Izuku, Kirishima, have you thought of a way to create a perfect defense with your quirk while in combat? Kirishima, I'm not following, can you explain? Izuku, what I mean is, can you manipulate the hardening of your body? For example, can you make spikes on your body to create an offensive defensive attack? Kirishima, I can do that with my hands, but I've never thought about it that deeply before. Izuku, picture a porcupine and an armadillo. Create spikes like porcupine on your body, then roll like an armadillo. Now you have a deadly combo. Izuku, now Kaminari, I know your quirk has a drawback that once you pass a certain voltage your brain gets fried. Kaminari, yeah, I've been trying to find a way to counter it but no luck. Izuku, have you tried padding lining your hero outfit and your regular clothes with rubber so you can use your power without having a weakness to your own quirk? Kaminari, I never gave it a thought to counter the discharge that occurs after I release max voltage. Izuku, can you manipulate your electricity? What I mean is make weapons with your lightning. Kaminari, no, I can't do that. I know you can control black and white electricity. As Izuku created 2 streams of lightning, he fused them together and manipulated it into a whip. Kaminari was amazed that Izuku could create with electricity. All that Izuku was doing by holding this training camp is helping his friends to be able to protect themselves. What Izuku feared was that a friend were to lose their life, but everyone understood that becoming a hero meant death would be around the corner and that it was a part of the job description. Everyone who wants to be a hero has to accept the reality that some might not return. After Izuku finished helping Kaminari, he felt a hand on his shoulder. All Might, young Midoriya, would you like to spar? Izuku, are you sure? So are we going 50% power? All Might, I'm sure, and yes, 50% power. Be ready, young Midoriya. As everyone stopped their training to watch Izuku vs All Might, the girls were confused to see the commotion. As they got closer, they saw All Might and Izuku ready to fight. They went up to the rest of the group and asked what caused this to happen. Kirishima explained the situation, and within a few seconds bursts of air were created and the punching power of All Might and Izuku rattled the ground. As Izuku jumped back, he created 6 clones and had a small advantage against All Might, and without hesitation, All Might took down all of them and pinned Izuku to the ground. Izuku showed a light smirk as he kicked All Might off. That caused him to gasp for air, and once All Might caught his breath, he rushed Izuku and hit him directly in the solar plexuses. Both Izuku and All Might fall to the floor and start laughing, knowing it was just a friendly match, but everyone was confused as to why they were laughing. Kaminari, hey Midoriya, why are you and All Might laughing like 2 crazy people? Izuku, ha 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 ha. All Might, ha 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 ha. As the two kept laughing, everyone was starting to get a creepy feeling, but the laughter suddenly stopped and they turned to Izuku, who cleared his throat. Izuku, sorry guys, it's just that me and All Might haven't sparred like that in a long time. Everyone began to question the fact that Izuku said a long time. All Might cleared his throat and was about to speak. All Might, young Midoriya, I think it's best to tell them how we know each other. Izuku, well, to be honest, All Might was the one who taught me to master my dark side, and well, we became good friends after during the process of our training. Everyone was shocked to know that the one hero was good friends with Midoriya, and so everyone had worked hard for the second day, and without them noticing how late it had gotten, everyone grabbed a shower and prepared for dinner. As Izuku had finished taking a shower first, he quickly prepared dinner, and as everyone was dressed and ready for dinner, there was a ringing at the entrance of the Midoriya home. As Izuku checked to see who it was none other than Hiashi and Inko. Hiashi, hi son, how are you doing? Hope everything is well. Inko, hi baby, how is my precious baby boy doing? In the background you could hear the snickering of Izuku's friends after they heard what his mother called him. Hiashi. Who's in your home right now, son? Izuku. I'm actually holding a training camp since the school got closed for 2 weeks. Hiashi. Well, if that's how things are, your mother and I will visit you and Momo another time. Izuku. Wait, since you guys are already here, just drive up. I doubt my friends would have any problem. Everyone was cool with his parents swinging by for a visit since he left home and got married. Then began Kirishima's waterworks. Kirishima. You are a true man, still showing love to your parents even after you moved out. After a few seconds the doorbell rang and Momo was the one to answer. After she opened the door she was tackled by Inko and was almost suffocated by her mother-in-law. Momo. Mom, I can't breathe, please let me go. Inko. I'm sorry dear, but it feels like forever since we've seen each other. As Inko let Momo go, she saw all the pretty girls who were in Izuku's home and she was nervous, but Izuku's father blurted it out. Hiashi. My son has started a harem, that's my boy. As Izuku was taking a sip of water he spat it out after heard his father say that, but in the process of spitting the water out, he hit All Might and Tensei Ida after Izuku apologized like a madman, but a few seconds later Hiashi spoke. Hiashi. How on earth did you get All Might to step into your home? Izuku. Well dad, while you were still working overseas All Might was the one who taught me how to control the darkness, he's my teacher. As Hiashi knelt down to the ground he said, All Might, thank you for looking after my son. I'm a useless father who doesn't have any right to be called father. As Hiashi said this All Might said, don't bow down to me, you've done a great job raising this promising hero. This filled Hiashi with joy and tears of happiness overflowed. Hiashi. Oh Izuku, I forgot the reason I came here was to give you this. As Hiashi stepped outside to get the gift for his son, as he walked inside it was a 24-pack of beer. Hiashi saying, let's drink. Everyone in the room was shocked and dinner wasn't served yet, so it was a perfect time to drink a beer. As Midoriya cracked a cold one with his dad everyone was still in utter shock until Hiashi said everyone grab one, let's enjoy the night. All Might wasn't against the young heroes in training to drink alcohol, as long as everyone was being supervised. This job fell upon Inko who didn't like to drink alcohol, but Izuku saw Momo passed out and he walked over to her and picked her up bridal style and tucked her in bed making sure she was okay, and this is how the night ends. Time skip back to school again. The 2-week school was closed had ended and time for classes to resume. Those who attended Izuku's training camp grew a lot stronger than they were. The class bell rang and they sat down and shut their mouths before their teacher arrived. Asawa. Wow, you guy got quiet before I walked in, good job, but now I have some important news that could impact all your lives. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.